Hey, welcome back. We're now on worksheet number 13. We're going to do this together, and you can submit that you did this lesson with me by going to Submit, Create Tab, type Done, and hit Submit again. I know there's like 4 steps to do one thing. I get it, trust me. I don't know why, but that's the only way it works. So let's take a look at this together. I can see at the top that the digraph SH is underlined, so that's going to help us, and then we have to remember back to all of our other codes. So make sure we think back to that. So if you don't know this word and you're reading, you're going to take a look at this word and see what you know. I know digraphs, and I know when I see an S and an H together, it makes one sound. So I'm going to go ahead and underline, and I know this isn't s, two sounds. It's just one sound. It's sh. Okay? I also know that vowels are short, like apple, when followed by a consonant. And I know that the k is K-backed, so I know this is k, sh. Now, you notice I coded at the end first. There's not really much rhyme or reason. As the words get bigger, we'll start doing steps like look for a final stable syllable, or look for a suffix, then look for digraphs, then look for vowels. You're welcome to code it in the order that makes sense to you. This word is cash, and you can see that there's cash right down there. All right. Now, number 2, I can see that there's a nice blend there. Blends are a little different than digraphs. Well, they're a lot different. They have 2 to 3 letters, and you hear all the sounds, but they're just blended very nicely together, which is how they get their name blends. So we've got a SPL right there, but there's no need to code. You hear all of its sounds. I do see that SH digraph, SH digraph, and I see a bereaved A. Putting all those sounds together from the beginning, splash, splash. The word is splash. Plus, if you were reading this in a book, this word would be in a sentence and it would make a lot more sense. So we coded that word. I don't see a picture that goes with that word, so we're going to keep on going. Number 3, I see 2 digraphs at the beginning and the end. So I'm going to underline them both. I know with the digraph CK, I need to cross out the C. I'm going to bereave the O. Now I know it's shock, shock. Like if you shock somebody and you accidentally, like static electricity, or, oh my gosh, I'm shocked. I can't believe it. Shock. No picture for that one. Next is number 4, has the SH in the initial position, and it's bereaved with the I because it's followed by a consonant. This word, when sounding it out, now that you've coded it and figured out the sounds, is shin, shin. Now your shin often gets bruises on it. It's your bone right here from kind of, I guess, your ankle to your knee. That's why we have shin guards in soccer. So there's the picture. Number 5 has an SH digraph, but this E does not have a consonant after it. So what do? I hope you're thinking, Mrs. Barhorst, I may crown it. It's an open, it's accent marked, and that is the word she. Okay, she. No picture for that one. Number 6 is a pretty long word, and it's not a word I use very often, so let's take a look at it. I see 2 vowels. And I look for that when the word is a little bit longer. This word has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. So I'm already thinking this is a pretty big word, might have more than one syllable. And so I see that the U and the I are vowels, and I'm going to code underneath with 2 tiny little V's. And then I'm going to code in between to see if I can figure out the pattern. 2 consonants. When you see the VCCV pattern, the place for the division, so you can separate the first syllable and the second syllable, is right in between those consonants, between those B's. And then you can focus on one syllable at a time. Both of our vowels are followed by a consonant, so they're bereaved. I see an SH in there, which is our digraph, and I'm going to accent the first syllable, which is usually the case when it's a VCCV pattern. So now I know it's rub-bish. Rubbish, rubbish. Rubbish is another word for garbage. Clean up all this rubbish. It's just another word for garbage or trash. We are starting for the first time to hit a sentence or two to make sure that we can apply all these things that we've learned in phonics in a reading short story. And I also add in a test-taking skill that I always do with my class, which is called RUW, which stands for read, underline, and write. So I'm going to do that with you guys too. It's so helpful when you're taking a test or you're answering questions on a piece of paper. Now you can't underline in your textbook, but you can definitely when you're reading a short story on a worksheet. So for number 7, right after it, I'd like you to put R, capital U, and capital W. I'd like you to do it for number 8 as well. I'm trying to change up the colors, which you might not even be able to see that much, but number 9 and number 10 right next to the question marks. So we're going to read the question. We're going to make sure we read the story. We're going to underline the answer in the story, citing text evidence. And then we're going to write a complete sentence if it needs it, or write in a bubble, whatever it needs, fill in a blank. So let's take a look at the story. Let's read it together. Ready? Go. The pig had a thin sash. The sash had a pin in it. The pin can stick. A sash is like kind of goes across. Maybe if you were at the fair, there's like the beef queen. I don't know too much about all that stuff. The pork queen and king, and they have a sash across them, and sometimes maybe they even pin it in place. So I'm looking at that story, and I might even read it again just to make sure I understand it. The pig had a thin sash. Well, this is a silly story. Thin sash. The sash had a pin in it, and the pin can stick. Might poke you, I guess. Well, let's go ahead and read the question here, the fill in the blank. The pig had a blank sash. Well, I already read. Now I need to underline. This is kind of like a checklist. Let's go back in the story and find the answer. The pig had a, there it is, thin sash. So I underlined thin in the story. I can check that off. Now I need to write my answer, and I just can copy it right from the story. Thin, T-H-I-N, thin. Then I can cross out my W, and I know I've completed all of the important steps. Number 8, read, underline, write. Don't forget our checklist. Number 8 says, what was in the sash? What was in the sash? In is a word that might help me a lot. Looking for keywords I'll get into a little bit later, but we read. Now let's see, what is in the sash? The sash, I see the word in right there. The sash had a pin in it. A pin in it. A pin. Okay, so let's see, do we have the choice? We underlined it. Now we need to write in the bubble, black, stick, or pin. We underlined pin. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. All right, number 9. Let's read it. Who had a thin sash? We read. Let's go back into the text, into the words to underline our answer. Who had a thin sash? Thin sash. Here's the word thin sash. I'm going to go back to the beginning of there. The pig had a thin sash. Well, the pig did. So I'm going to underline the pig. I'm going to cross out my U for underline, and now I'm going to write in the bubble. Pig, pin, stick. These two words look a lot alike. Make sure you look all the way to the end of the word. Pig ends in a G. So I'm going to fill in that bubble. I wrote in there, so I'm going to cross off my W. And I did all the pieces and parts of that question. So I'm going to go on to number 10. What can stick? That big word stick. I bet if I find that in a story, it's an important word, so I can probably find the answer somewhere around it. I've crossed out my R because I read. Now I need to go in my story, and I'm going to look for that word stick. It's probably where the answer is. Stick. What can stick? Let's go to the beginning of the sentence. The pin can stick. It's our answer. It's right there. So I'm going to even just underline a sentence, which is fine. Whatever it is, it's going to help you. The pin can stick. What can stick? The pin can. Not the pig, but the pin. And not the sash. So we did underline in the story. We wrote in the bubble, and our answer is correct. The answers are there. When I was younger, they would make me close up my books and they'd ask me questions about what I've read. It's so different now. We want you to be able to go back into the story, be able to scan through and find important words to help you answer questions. It's not cheating, it's what you're supposed to do, and that's called citing text evidence. In order to do that, reading, underlining, and writing, RUW, I forgot to cross that one out, is a great checklist. And if you can do those, you're going to be great as a reading test taker. So thank you, friends. This is all done for today. Happy Phonics. Phonics is all over, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.